Whether you're traveling as a tourist or as a full-time digital nomad like me, every big trip starts with a particular journey, usually a plane ticket. And for that, there's one platform, one starting point that I recommend 100% and that you probably already know: Google Flights. As for me, I've been a nomad for 5 years. I've visited 38 countries. I've spent more than half my life living abroad, and I've taken more than 100 flights. And in this video, I'm sharing all my tips and tricks for finding the best plane tickets at the best prices, and I'll show you all the hidden features of Google Flights. Let's get started. If you're watching this video, it means you're a traveler at heart and you'll need to search for plane tickets and also optimize your trips as you go. I have plenty of videos on this topic and many more coming soon, so if you're interested, I invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button to make sure you don't miss anything, and also activate the notification bell to get notified as soon as a new video comes out. Now, I'm going to switch to the other side of the screen to show you the Google Flights interface directly and give you a concrete demonstration of everything that's going to happen. One thing you should know, which you'll find interesting, is that I've also made a more general video about the entire process of finding cheaper plane tickets. Google Flights is a big part of it, but there are also other steps you need to know about. I encourage you to watch that video by clicking the link at the top right of this video. Now here we are on the Google Flights homepage. As you can see, I'm currently in Thailand, and I'm just going to change the language and currency so I can show you Google Flights in the right languages. You can do this too when you're traveling to make sure you're comparing the same things. The language is set and the currency. Okay. We're now on the Google Flights homepage in French and in euros. So, as you can see here, there's different information. This is the Google Flights search bar. You can choose the departure point, destination, departure date, return date, whether it's one-way, round trip, or multi-city, and then the number of people and the class. In this case, as you can see, I'm going to show you different examples. It suggests a departure from the city near where I am, Koh Samui. I'm going to show you directly based on that. For example, let's do a flight to Dubai with a departure on February 24th, okay? And then we'll come back a little later. And I'm just waiting for it to load because you can already get an idea of the plane tickets even before searching, right here in this calendar that we'll look at later. Let's say, okay, for the return March 10th. So here we go. We search. And now, as you can see, lots of options come up. And all these filters here are going to be super useful for you to be able to choose directly and find the plane ticket that fits your needs. Here, we're going to do a standard round-trip flight, which is what most people do. I'll show you later how it works for a one-way flight, a flight where you don't even know the destination when you're a digital nomad like me, and also a multi-destination flight, which can be very useful in certain cases. Here we have these different pieces of information coming up. I'm going to show you for this flight how I would choose it on my end, and then I'll walk you through various other things. First of all, some really important things to look at on this page are the filters, as I mentioned to you. There's a button here, All Filters, to see all the filters, and you can also go more specifically into each individual filter. I'm going to walk you through the different filters that are interesting, especially the first filter, which is the stopover filter. This one shows the number of stops you'll have on your flight. For example, if I'm flying from Koh Samui to Dubai, there are no non-stop flights. You see? I can choose to have a maximum of 1 stopover or a maximum of 2 stopovers. And so, often, I prefer not to have any stopovers even if it's more expensive, because I've been traveling for a long time and I know that stopovers are tiring and really make the trip longer, so here there's no choice. We'll have to take a stopover in this case. Next, you see that you can also choose the airline. Here there actually aren't any flights with just 1 stopover in this case. Well, that's unlucky in that regard. It's going to be a slightly more complicated flight. But as you can see, the ones they're offering me here have 2 stopovers that last 27 hours, and these aren't the most pleasant flights in that regard. I'm just showing you the filters. It's an example, again, of theft. Next, you can choose by airline. Either you want to select all airlines, or you just want to choose a specific airline because, I don't know, you have a loyalty issue or you just love that particular airline. And what's very interesting for our friends like me who want to use reward miles is that you can choose the points alliances. These are the 3 main airline points alliances: the reward points alliances, Star Alliance, SkyTeam, and oneworld. And so you could choose that. In this case, I don't have any specific information, but it could be interesting for you. For example, I don't know if you have a voucher for a particular airline, etc. As for baggage, it's the same. Carry-on or other luggage, you can set options. As for the price, generally I don't touch that because we'll usually sort the results by price afterwards. Schedule. Now that can be super important if, I don't know, you have to leave at a specific time or you can't leave before 10 in the morning because, say, you have to return a car or something like that. And then, same thing for the arrival. If you have an appointment when you arrive, you might say, okay, I absolutely need to arrive between 4 p.m. and midnight, for example. In this case, I'm not going to set those because there are already quite a few constraints regarding the flight itself. Next, emissions, carbon emissions, layovers. You can also choose to go through or avoid a certain place, which can be very convenient. For example, right now, during COVID times, I avoid going through the United States at all costs for my flights because customs, visas, and so on are very complicated due to COVID. Sometimes it's not even possible, so you can do that. You can also adjust the layover duration here. For example, you absolutely want a layover duration of, I don't know, a maximum of 7 hours. That's a bit unusual for a flight, I admit, but that's how it is. Very important, it often also uses the duration. Here, the duration of the flight. Personally, I don't want to spend days and days on a plane because I have to work at the same time, and so on. I'm willing to pay more if the flight is shorter. For example, you can select the duration of the flights here. Less than 17 hours, there aren't any in this case. It's a big trip, but you can play around with these options directly, and you'll see here, the filters you select will be in blue, for example, right here. So specifically, the filters I recommend you use, and the ones I use most often, are the layover filters. Personally, if possible, I try not to have any layovers. I'll also adjust the departure and return times if I need to leave before a certain time or come back before a certain time. That can be useful. I'll also play around with the duration. So those are the 3 main filters I use. And here you have a view of all the filters that let you set different options, so you can select pretty much any filter from this view. So I'm going to pick another flight because I don't really like this one. It's a bit complicated, so for example, I'll do a Bangkok-Paris. I think I'll have more flexibility with that. So what I wanted to show you next before diving into the results is some more options, especially regarding the dates. As you saw, we chose a round trip. There's a view I really like for checking out the prices and so on. And also, when I travel, I'm always flexible about when I leave and when I arrive, since I'm a nomad. For some people, as tourists, you'll have your vacation from a specific date to another, so you need to be precise, but you might also be able to pick and choose your vacation dates based on ticket prices because it can really be worth it. So this calendar view is super important and actually lets you see, depending on your departure and return dates, the different options available. So for example, the flight I chose at 446 euros seems pretty reasonable to me compared to the price. We have 443 euros here. And what's interesting is that you can move around here. So you can both shift the departure date to see how that affects things. There aren't really any much more interesting flights a little later. In fact, it's even a bit more expensive compared to that. On the other hand, if I move the return date a bit, do I find anything interesting? We have 463. Google shows you the prices directly, the lowest price for your dates, but you can shift them a little. Sometimes just by doing that you can find much more interesting flights. Now that I've already changed the flight, I'll add some filters here to show you what I would do. Here I would select non-stop flights only. So you see there are also no non-stop flights on those dates. However, it might just mean there aren't any on those specific dates, but if you look at the calendar, you can see that there are, like for example, there's a return flight the day before, and so with this view, I could find the flight I want directly. Okay. Next, in terms of duration, with non-stop flights, it's going to be hard to get a shorter one, but I could exactly, if I were to take a flight with a layover, I could play around with the duration based on that. So here you can see there are different flights. There aren't many flights because I've chosen these constraints. But if I remove the constraints to show you a bit more about the filters, you'll get other information. There's also an interesting view, which is the price chart. So here it tells you, since it's a round trip for trips of a certain duration, the best prices. You can see that here, we're still in the lower average range. We have 430 euros on certain dates, but it's important to also look at this view to get an idea of the best prices. What I'm going to show you now relates to what's coming next. First of all, it's super important. If you have really fixed and specific alerts, you can set a price alert if you're not ready to book right away. Here, as you can see, it will send an email for price changes, etc. So there you have it. Now we're getting to the results section of the searches we've done for the flight. So here you can see that it's very interesting. Google sorts the flights according to what they consider the best flight. In general, these are pretty good flights because it's a combination of price, duration, and so on. But personally, I also like to sort the flights either by departure time or arrival time, especially if there are a lot of options at about the same price, but otherwise usually by price as well. Because if I sort by price and also by duration, I can see that some flights take, you see there are flights that take 13 hours, others that take 15 hours, and so on. Personally, I want to take a flight that lasts less than 16 hours, let's say. I'm going to select that here. There we go. Now, I already have the flights that are under 16 hours, which are generally non-stop or have a very short layover. Next, I sorted by price. You see, here in this case, the price difference between a flight with a stopover and a non-stop flight is either 500 euros with a stopover, a 1 hour and 45-minute layover in Vienna, which isn't so bad, or non-stop for 579 euros. Basically, the question I'm asking myself is whether I'm willing to pay 79 euros more to avoid a stopover and save 2 hours of travel time. In this case, I might say yes or maybe not. It depends on the specifics of the trip, but that's how the results look. You can play around a bit with these parameters and see what works best for you based on your own criteria and filters. What's interesting is that the filters will also affect what is shown to you in the calendar view, as we've seen. So you can really... What I usually do is set all the filters I want, no stopovers, duration less than 15 hours, outbound flights only, and then take a look. And after that, I check here to see what comes up. And then, if needed, I broaden my filters a little. I'm going to switch back to camera mode to talk about what's next. Basically, I showed you Google Flights for a standard flight search. Now, I'd also like to show you Google Flights for a slightly different type of search, a multi-destination flight, a one-way trip, or the Explore feature, to show you some other scenarios. We just saw a typical round-trip flight case. I'm also going to show you one-way and multi-destination flights. You'll see here on the search page that you have these options here. One-way, I switched back to English, I'm going to get back into batch. It's not a big deal. I'll just show you here in relation to that. One-way flight, here for example, I'll do a Koh Samui Bangkok. Here you'll see that it really simplifies the search because you only have one date to work with. Basically, you see all the options here. You can play around with your different criteria. For example, set it to a non-stop flight and see, or for instance, I don't know, the duration won't change much if it's just one leg, but you can check the price a bit depending on the dates. Here, everything is in baht. The price is really the same everywhere except for certain dates when it's more expensive, especially on weekends apparently. But that's how it is regarding that. And then you can also sort. It's useful for flights, for example, to sort by departure time because there are a lot of them. There are flights almost every hour. So you'll be able to choose the time that suits you best. The second thing I wanted to show you was the multi-destination flight. For example, when you want to leave from point A to point B and return from point C to point A, or even, why not, plan an entire round-the-world trip like Paris-Dubai, Dubai-Bangkok, Bangkok-Osaka, Osaka-Singapore, and so on. That's super interesting. A real-life example I can give you is that my parents are coming to Thailand to see me in a few weeks. They booked a Lyon-Phuket flight for immigration reasons related to COVID, so Lyon to Phuket. And for the return, we're doing Bangkok to Lyon because we want to avoid having to retrace our steps to get back to the starting point. That suited our itinerary. For example, that's what I do. So Lyon, Phuket, Bangkok, Lyon. And so for the dates, I'll put in their dates so I can find their flight. I think it's from February 21st to March 9th. Oops. Okay. So here, there won't be any non-stop flights. That's normal. It's going to load the flights and we'll see the different options based on that. And what's interesting is that it lets you compare whether it's more worthwhile, more expensive or cheaper than booking a round-trip ticket, for example. And in this case, if we had just booked Lyon Phuket and Phuket Lyon, well, at the end of our trip in Bangkok, we would have had to buy another plane ticket to get back to Phuket. So, we're finally on the results page. And now you can see that there are lots of different flights. There are flights with multiple stops, flights with one stop, all sorts of different flights like that. And so here we'll be able to see with the dates we have and even with different dates what it looks like in terms of price and interest. So now, for example, let's see if we want to try to limit the number of stops. There's no direct flight, but we can choose a flight with one stop. And so in this case, we see that the cheapest flight is 438 euros with 2 stops. Here, with one stop, there's a flight for 862 euros, but it takes much less time compared to that. So you can play around a bit with the different flight durations and destinations to find what you want to do. Now, I also wanted to show you a type of flight search that's particularly suited for nomads like me who, well, I know where I am right now, but I don't know where I'll be next month. So often, I'll decide based on the destinations, ticket prices, and so on. It's this mode here, which you can find right there, called Explore. Okay, so now we're on the Explore view to actually see where we could go. Here, I've set my location to Bangkok. For example, let's say I know I want to leave Bangkok around March 15th. So I select that date right here. And so it will show me, starting from Bangkok, which flights might be interesting in terms of price, duration, and so on. You can see that I still have the various filters and I've left the destination open. I can put all sorts of things here in relation to that. I can say I'm willing to set a maximum amount for my plane ticket. I'd be willing to spend 200 euros for my ticket from Bangkok to pretty much anywhere. And so now it shows me the map and I can directly choose to see where I could go. So if you take a look, I have Chennai, Singapore, Hong Kong, different options like that. You can zoom in to explore the different airports that would work for you on that date. You can also, of course, play around with the dates to see what's available on which day, since there are dates that aren't particularly, who are not always available. There's also the flexible date mode, which is interesting. You can say, okay, I want to leave from Bangkok in March. I don't know when in March, I'm flexible on the departure date, I just want to find a cheap flight to an interesting destination. And so here, you can use this mode to find what you want to do. You could also say that you want to go to a particular region of the world or a specific country. For example, I could just put Europe and see what comes up. I want to go from Bangkok to somewhere in Europe in March. What are the good prices, the flights that would be interesting for me to do that? You can see there are quite a few flights in there. I could also say, okay, I want a price that's less than 300 euros, for example, and see what comes up at that point for going from Bangkok to somewhere in Europe. There's Rome, London, Stockholm, Moscow, Paphos, Vienna. And if you zoom in, you'll also see other airports related to that. So this mode is very useful for nomads as well, to check out flights because we're flexible about when we leave and where we go. We make the decision ourselves based on what we want, but also according to ticket prices and so on. I really wanted to show you this Explore mode because it's not very well known. It's a feature that's a bit, I wouldn't say hidden because it's there, but not many people know about it. And as a nomad, it helps me a lot. For example, this summer, I used it when I was in Arcachon, near Bordeaux, and I was open. I had about a month available to go anywhere I wanted. I looked at the most interesting flights, the cheapest ones, not too far away, somewhere I wanted to go in Europe, and that's how I ended up in Tenerife for, I think my ticket cost about 50 euros. So yeah, it's pretty convenient. So that's basically how I search for plane tickets on Google Flights. That's kind of my tutorial, my guide for that. What I recommend next, so far we've been in research and analysis mode, etc. I recommend you watch my video on all the steps to follow to find the cheapest and most interesting plane tickets, and also, based on this research, why not write down the results in another file? That way you'll be able to compare flights with layovers, without layovers, duration, price, and so on. Get out of Google Flights, use Google Sheets, Notion, or just take notes. Just compare the different tickets, the prices you've seen, the interesting tickets, and always, and I'll talk about this in the other video, always book your plane ticket directly on the airline's website. If you're watching this video, it means you're a traveler at heart. And if, like me, you're interested in being able to work while traveling, in other words, traveling all year round by becoming a digital nomad. Good news. I've put together a guide of over 70 pages that explains all the steps, everything you need to know and consider to become a digital nomad, optimize your nomadic life, from how to earn a living online to how to travel and choose your destination. You can download this guide directly through the first link below this video. You also have access to all my YouTube videos that are related to these topics. We've received really great feedback on this guide. I really encourage you to check it out. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give me a thumbs up to let me know and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you never miss future videos like this one.